Dark forces are at play in the human psyche. In order to correctly understand the real root cause of all of the utter madness that we are now seeing all around us, you have to understand what emotion is, and more importantly, where all emotion does in fact come from. So, the emotion that only currently, lives in and lives off as humans, the emotion that is constantly seen to be draining us humans of our precious energy, is in fact a parasite of sorts. And emotion is constantly working to create an environment in which it can thrive. Emotion wants to create an environment that will lead to the creation of even more emotion. And yes, those who are already under the full influence of their own emotional self, as the body of emotion that continues to live on inside of you is yourself. Those who are already under the influence of the parasite are being used like pawns to help to forward the agenda of the parasite. Now, the reason I describe emotion as it is down to the fact that all emotion is actually born out of all of those unhappy, pain-filled events that we experience during our time in this existence. The body of emotion that lives in the pit of your stomach is in fact a body of past pain. Hence why we use the term misery guts, as what would you expect to see the pain wish to create, if not more of itself, if not more pain and misery. Pain that we are mistakenly taught to hang on to and feed by those who raise us, by those who are again under the influence of the parasite. And yes, that body of past pain is actually behind all of our moods and unhappiness, as well as our cruel words and actions. Now, you also need to understand that there are in fact no good emotions of any sort, none. And why is that? Well, happiness, joy, love, and kindness are not in fact emotions at all. Happiness, joy, love, and kindness are in fact our never-ending underlying state, an unwavering state, a motion and so emotion-free state that we only ever become disconnected from due to all of those troublesome emotions that are constantly butting in an effort to make us unhappy. So how precisely are we taught to hang on to and feed the emotional pain that lives on inside of us? Well, we do so as a result of two habits that appear to be completely harmless, through habitually both talking and thinking about the past. You see, as all emotional pain is in fact born out of the past, in order for it to continue to live on inside of us, it must trick us into feeding it. And this we do by habitually both talking and thinking about those very events that actually gave birth to it, by mostly living in the past, by constantly dwelling in the pain of our emotions. The spawn of the past is deviously using our own ignorance of how it actually works against us. It is quite literally tricking us into creating a feedback loop that only it is seen to benefit from. We humans are actually being tricked into creating our own psychological pain and suffering. We are being tricked into creating our own emotional roller coaster. An emotional roller coaster that is often seen to drive many an individual to commit suicide. An act of pure desperation that we actually refer to as killing yourself. That body of troublesome emotion that is in fact your one and only real problem. Now, what I am saying here may indeed seem utterly crazy, but you have to understand that when nearly all in any society are seen to suffer more or less from the very same illness, due to the perceived normality of the illness, almost no one can see that something is in fact terribly wrong. The normality of the problem is actually working to hide the problem in plain view, Finally, emotional pain does in fact have its purpose in the evolutionary process of intelligent life / consciousness here on planet Earth, as most are only ever seen to learn the most important lessons in the hardest or most painful ways. Lessons such as the fact that to be seen to constantly live in the past can only ever be seen to lead to a life of misery and unhappiness. And in that sense, emotional pain can only ever be seen to drive the evolutionary process of intelligent life / consciousness forward to a certain point, to the point at which the many negatives associated with using pain as a driver far outweigh the benefits that are actually gained from it, to the point at which intelligent life / consciousness finally realizes, as a direct result of having experienced a life of alternating pleasure and pain, that pain does in fact hurt. A realization that in turn brings about the long-awaited shift from long having lived in the past to now existing in the present. A shift to the only moment in which one can in fact enjoy being life, without any further interruptions, to a lasting peace of mind. Love to everyone. Andrew.